Hey everybody, it's Gail, and this is Errata-Hate episode 55, and today we are going to be doing a how-to with my hairpin lace loom right here. So what you're going to need to do this, first of all, hairpin lace loom. My third piece, because it always comes with the third doodad, is put away because I've been using this. So you need the loom, you're going to need a K-hook, and you're going to need some of that tape yarn that you can always get like in bags of 4 or 5 from, I know Joanne sells them a lot. You know, they're really wide. And I like them a lot, and I've been wondering what to do with them because I like them a lot, but I you know, it's not a yarn you use to like make clothes or anything because it's very thick. So you'll need that, and then you'll also need either a bulky weight yarn or, in my case, enough yarn that you can run 2 strands of worsted, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this loom and this hook and we're going to make some of these. So this is the hairpin lace when it's finished and off the loom, and I have 4 skeins of this, 2 of which currently look like this, and so I'm going to do the other 2 skeins to get the same hairpin lace, and then we are going to attach them together using, in my case, the double-stranded worsted, and make a rug. Just make a nice bright rug. Note to self, I need to get the little anti-slip pads because this is not going to stay put on its own, so that will be part of this. So, of course, the first thing you're going to need to do is make all the strips, and rather than walk you through it in this video, I am actually going to send you back to episode 14, where I showed you how to use the hairpin lace tool, and I'm doing that because the clarity when you're working with a yarn that is this thick makes it a little harder to see the process, and you can see the process very clearly in video 14. So I'm going to go and get started on the rest of the hairpin lace stuff. So take this, and this, and this, and make this. And then when I get my other stripes done, I will be back to show you how we're going to connect everything. Hey everybody, I am back. I have made my other 2 pieces of hairpin lace. Also, if you hear a lot of air behind me, that is our standing air conditioner right there. It's in the upper 80s all week, and that sucks. So we dragged that buddy of ours out of the storage closet and got it set up. So you might hear it making some noises behind me. It kind of does a clunk when it's kicking up into high gear, etc. So I made those 2 strips, and then I joined the other 2 strips with a zigzag join that I will show you in just a second. It's fairly easy. But I want to show you an oops that I had while making this. And the oops is this little piece right here. So when you make hairpin lace and you're making it with serious intent to really join things together nicely, which is not really the goal of this one, I just want a tacky kitchen rug, it's supposed to end like this, where everything is even, you have the same number of loops on both strips. Now, the way that you do that, if you look at a pattern for hairpin lace, they will tell you the number of loops you're making, and they act like rows, so every loop is a row. And you track the number of loops using stitch markers, or you tie off a bunch when you get them off the loom. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I did not do that in this case because, like I said, I'm just making a tacky kitchen rug, and so what's probably going to happen, based on this happening with these 2, is that there's a pretty good chance that one of these is going to be slightly longer than the other. But that's great, because then what I can do is I can sew these pieces to these pieces in such a way that it looks totally intentional. I am a master of pretending like I meant to do that. It's just a skill you get after a while. So, before we find out exactly which one of these is the slightly longer one, we're going to have to join them together. So, a couple of things. When you start working on your strips, you might notice that you have your end piece here is just a slip knot, and so you could pull that and everything goes to hell. So do not use that as your first join loop. Flip it around and use the other side because it's not going anywhere. And so what I've done here is I've double stranded my worsted weight that I'm using. If you have a bulky yarn, you don't need to double strand, of course, but I really like this yellow, so I'm using it. I'm on my K-hook. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the top loop on this strip, and I am going to single crochet 1 and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I am going to take my second strip, which is a little twisty right now, so give me a second. That's something you really have to watch out for. So when you're working it, if you notice it's starting to twist, one of the things you can do is fold it up onto itself like this, and then secure it with a rubber band or a hair tie, and then it won't twist on the loose parts, which is very helpful. So let's see. Okay, so that's my looser side. So we're going to start with this pink side. And we will be securing these at the very end. Don't worry about it. So what I'm going to do, because I worked the first loop here, but I want a zigzag. So I'm going to work the second loop. I'm going to work that single crochet and those 3 chains into the second loop. And so it's going to be single crochet, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to come back over to my first strip, skip the second loop. This is a mess. Skip the second loop and then work into this third loop. So that's going to be 1, chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. And then I'm going to do the same thing back over here, where I'm going to skip the next loop. So this is the loop I worked on the second strip. I'm skipping this one, I'm working into this one. And so so this strip I'm only working the odd loops down, and this strip I'm only working the even loops down, and I'm aware that it's very hard to see the difference in them right now. And what this is going to do is give you the start of that zigzag. So we're building 1/2 of the zigzag right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way down, just like I showed you. So odd loops worked here, even loops worked here, keeping the zigzag going until I get down to the bottom of the strips. And then I will be flipping everything on its head so I can work my way back up. So what I'm going to do now is get off camera so that I can finish working these 2 strips together. And I will be back at the end to show you how to flip and work your way back up. And I'm sure a couple of you are like, yeah, we get it, Gail, but like, it can be a little difficult sometimes to like flip and start over and make sure you're going in the right direction, so I'm going to show you anyway. Don't sass me. Be back. I have finished the first part of the zigzag on these 2 strips, and so I am back to show you how to work your way down. And like I said, some of you might have already figured it out, but I always like to be as detailed as possible when I'm doing this, because you never know who's watching and who may not have done something before. So first of all, it turns out I kind of had a hiccup up here with my last loops, so I just made them into 1. And I do have a little bit left over here, so now it's on purpose that the rug's going to look this way. So what I've done is, so I worked this loop, and then I worked across to this final loop to do the join. So now it's joined all the way down as far as it can be. And so I've got the single crochet, so I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come over to the first unworked loop that is below my join line, since I do have these extras. And there it is. And I'm going to work that single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then find my first unworked loop on the other side. There it is. And single crochet, chain 3, and I'm just going to do that all the way down, where I'm going back and forth, zigzagging to each side, finding the unworked loop that I need, and just attaching everything to each other. So once I do this, and I get it finished, before I join the 2 sets of strips together into the rug, what I will be doing is going in and weaving in the ends that I was showing you that was a little loose, that was the slip stitch at the end, so that I can make sure that that's secure and it's not going to unravel later. And so I'm gonna go have this fight, and I will be back to show you how I'm gonna weave in those ends so that they don't get away from you later on. And I think I have little rug stickies, because like this is very slippy. So I'm gonna get the no slip rug stickies and stick them to the corners so that when I do put it in my kitchen, I don't kill myself. So I will see you guys in a few. Okay, back one more time. Well, more than one more time, but back again. I have gotten those two strips fully stitched together. And now what I'm working on is these top loops that are the slip stitches. And what I'm doing is making sure that I secure them so that they cannot easily come unraveled. And my only concern about them coming unraveled is when I attach these pieces to the other pieces. Because, you know, once it's on the floor and a rug, there's not really probably going to be a lot of pulling. So what I've done on the back of my work here is I've just gone ahead and worked my tapestry needle through a few loops. I find this is the easiest way to do it if I have shorter tails, is to just like pre-thread the needle. And so to make sure that I don't lose this loop, I'm going to hold it open with my thumb, and then I'm just going to slowly and rather aggravatedly pull my needle through. And this is, as you can see, it's a little bit of a mess just because we're dealing with a thicker yarn that's got a lot of texture to it. So using my hands a little. So okay, got it through that first loop and the second loop, so go me. All right. And just working my way down. My hands are oddly sweaty. I blame the fact that it's hot outside. I have not been outside, but I'm blaming the heat outside. But goddamn. Ah, see, I was right. So what's happening here is that, let me see if you can see. This yellow piece here, this tiny yellow thread is from this loop, which I was certain I'd gotten all the way through, but this tiny yellow thread is making things a little more difficult because it has run away from its neighbors. So, just gonna keep working it through. Okay, and I've got it through that bottom loop now. And I've picked up a little green thread that goes with the loop I just went through, so this is definitely wanting to be a pain. But, you know, you work with enough yarn, you work with enough projects, you can kind of tell which things are going to be a bother. And sorry for only getting the bottom half of my face for that last minute. I was involved. And aha! Got it. And now I actually have to free my tapestry needle from these two pieces of thread that tried to get it, and I got it. So that's nice and secure. You know, it's not gonna pull out easily. It's gonna hold when I need to attach it to other things. So I'm gonna do that with the other loops that are like this, and then I'm going to join the middle of the blanket. So now that I have the two halves, and then I have to run out and get the sticky back rug thingies to put on the bottom so that it won't slide all over my kitchen. So I will see you in a bit. It's finished! And kind of blurry because between the color changes and the stitch pattern, it does not photograph particularly well. But let me get down here. But I really like it. I wish that yellow would pop a bit more. It actually pops more in real life. It's the camera. So anyway, here it is. It's in front of my stove. I was going to put it in front of my sink, but we actually stand in front of the stove more because we have a dishwasher. So here are the two ends that I mentioned were slightly too long. I meant to flip this set so they would be on opposite ends, but I don't care. It's fun, it's cute, it's nice to walk on. Now, the big thing is I ended up not doing the sticky rug pieces on the bottom because once I got it on the floor and was standing on it, it stays in place. And we don't have kids, so we don't have to worry that a kid's going to bust their head running in and sliding on it. But if you want the sticky rug things, you can find them in any decor department. Like, find a place that sells rugs, and you can find the little sticky back things to put on the rugs so the rug stays put. But anyway, that is this how-to. I hope that you like it. I don't do a lot of household stuff in how-tos yet, and this one was really fun. Mostly because I like how bright it is, which is not surprising. But anyway, as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, share, and consider throwing a couple of bucks in the Errata-Hate Ko-Fi, which is linked down in the basement. And I will see y'all next time for whatever I'm doing for 56. I honestly don't remember. Bye.